G'day, folks. Welcome aboard. Tonight
G'day,
is
g'day.
a special night. Today we've got Jonesy here. Jonesy from Radio Jonesy. How you going, mate?
I'm going great. Yeah, well, thanks for having me on.
It's a pleasure. It's nice to have you on. Um, for those that are a bit confused, yes, this is a bit out of order from our normal stream. Jonesy and I are doing a practice run to see how much of an acceptance we will have out there with us talking about just stuff going on down under. So, a couple of people in the chat there. We've got Roadhog there. G'day, Roadhog. Rock and Rolls, laugh out. Good morning. Yeah, well, morning, maybe morning for you, but heading into 8 p.m. on Tuesday evening. So, welcome aboard. We've got the governor there. Good morning, governor. Governor's based in the UK, so we won't hold that against him. But Rob, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm officially starting my Christmas leave. You lucky mongrel. You get a chance to have a late leave. We've got Crystal from Destinations Delight. Welcome aboard, Crystal. Nice to have you here. And it's a raid from Adventures of Traveling Mike. I didn't know Mike could traveling. Okay, there we go. Roadhog ate some buttered rolls earlier. How about you? What did you eat earlier? I had dinner. What did you have for dinner, Jonesy?
Nothing as. Oh no, sorry, I'll take that back. We had a burger at about 4 o'clock.
That's
Homemade
awesome.
one.
We've got Bernie from Fairy Dust. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Awesome, Rob. I hope you have a terrific and excellent leave. And Bernie is also saying that it is flying in to say it's almost 1 a.m. here in Southern California, the western coast area of the Americas. Well, you're closer to us than the other mob.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Well,
We've
I don't
got,
mind the Californians.
yeah, we've got Troy here from Nomadic Rat Pack. Welcome aboard, buddy. What are you suffering from, insomnia again? Oh, we're getting the spelling right now. And I see, okay, we're doing the runaround. Oh, there we go. G'day, mate. We've got the Adventures of Traveling Mike. Welcome aboard, Mike. Nice to have you here. It's me and Jonesy today. Me and Jonesy.
Yes.
Bernay.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that guy again. He loves voice to text. Which guy are we referring to?
I do that when I'm driving, actually.
Yeah, do you?
Voice to text. Yeah.
But that's okay. We can do that because that's legal. Just putting your hands on the bloody phone and typing is not. This is an official raid from the Adventures of Traveling Mike. Thank you very much, Troy. Really appreciate that. Michael Ann Spolt, welcome aboard, Michael Ann. Nice to have you here. That's one Canadian so far. Fairy Dust, Bernay, oh, rats on a ship, forgot to say. I see, I understand now. We've got Stream Elements in there. G'day, Stream Elements, welcome aboard. Cam Creek, what's cracking, people? Good question.
And can I just jump in there and say,
Yep.
just Sean, if people are watching on Australian Radio Indie, Australian Radio Jonesy. I'm still in radio mode. Do they see the same chat that we're seeing, or do they only see the chat that they've come in on my page?
Jonesy, they'll only see the stuff that's on your page, but as I go through, I'm bringing it up on the screen so everybody can read it, what's on the screen.
Yeah, so just for everyone who's come in on the chat, just stick around, we'll get to you. Thanks, Phil.
G'day, Peterson's Farm of Nashville. Howdy, Jonesy, and all in the chat. Welcome aboard. Roadhog, Cam
Phil.
Creek Bill saying g'day to Cam Creek. Crystal, g'day, Crystal. Welcome from another Traveling Adventures of Mike. We've got, oh, good day, Raquel. Welcome aboard. Nice to have you here. I was one. That's two connects in the show so far. Actually, no, we're two. Yeah, we're two at the moment. Mike giving a bit of a clap there. Cam Creek, g'day Roadhog. Roadhog is saying, I'm in the USA. Sorry, forgot the time change. Mate, we can handle that sort of stuff. You know, we Aussies are tough, aren't we, Jonesy? We handle all that sort of nonsense.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, go
It's
ahead.
all good. No, it's all good over here, especially us Tasmanians.
Yeah, well, I mean, you are Australia, right?
Oh,
No
we're
matter,
the jewel.
you're the jewel. You are the jewel. Troy, we should change our names to Bildrats or at least one of our channels. Well, you can do that. You can do that. Look, guys, I'm those that are just saying g'day. I'm just going to do a quick flick. Those that we can read, we'll read out. How deep down the rabbit hole are we going to go? As far as we can. Oh my goodness me, Philip. Seriously, Philip. Pizza and lamb shashliks for dinner. That sounds awesome.
Extraordinary.
Yeah. 4 a.m. here on your way to work. That's Peterson Farms. We've got Alana there. Alana having ravioli bolognese tonight. Yeah, well, that was pretty scrumptious. Thank you, Honey Bunch. Mike saying g'day to Jonesy.
G'day.
Rodog saying it's 4 a.m. there as well. Cam Creek is saying slight echo on Jonesy.
Yes. We were discussing that in our pre-meeting.
We'll have to figure that out. Is it Tuesday or Wednesday? Have I slept for 24 hours? No, Philip, it is Tuesday. Jonesy and I are doing a weekly chat about what's going on down under. And we would like to bring as many Aussies involved in the chat, Aussies and Kiwis involved in the chat, so that we can educate our friends from across the pond. I mean, if we get anybody from across the ditch, well, then that's awesome. But that's the way we're heading. Spelt that rog. Okay. And you spelt that wrong too. I mean, that's right. Ilana gets a big hug from Troy. Bush Edge Homesteading, welcome aboard. Nice to see you. G'day, welcome aboard. Nice to have you here. Mike saying g'day to Ilana. Auslander, welcome aboard, mate. Nice to have you here.
Hey,
G'day.
Auslander. Good to see you.
Alana saying g'day to all from Traveling Mike. Sean, can you see me over here? Can I see you over there? Can I see you where you are? Now that's an interesting question, Troy. I do have X-ray vision, but my vision is not that good. Sorry about that, mate.
Can you see what I see?
Yep.
That's a good song, but we won't go down that road.
No, we won't. Not right now. G'day, Mike from Ilana. Okay. Let me see. Okay, Philip is going, has anyone watched Don from Don Travels one day in Sydney before his cruise to New Zealand? Yeah, we did watch. He needed a bit of... every time I hear Don talk, he's a bit on the complaining side. But you know what? It's great to have him and both Tony down here. It's awesome. Stream Elements are saying welcome to the Aussie joint venture with Radio Jonesy and the Downunder Cruisers. If you like what you see, please sub, like, and comment. That would be awesome. And whether you sub, like, or comment in Jonesy's channel or our channel, that would be awesome. Just go ahead and get it done. Ilana is saying, back at you, Troy. And we've got Nightbot here as well. And Nightbot is saying, check out my other channels. Or whatever that channel code is. But that's Jonesy's other channels.
Okay. Oh, well, there you go. Nightbot's I got that connected to StreamYard.
It's actually not connected to
But
StreamYard. It's actually connected to the YouTube channel.
oh, okay, I got you. Well, that's my other music channel. That's Australian
Yep.
Radio Indie TV.
So, Jonesy, while we're busy chatting about other channels and so forth, so
Hmm.
what channel makeups do you have right now?
Well, basically, this channel, Radio Jonesy, is about a semi-retired radio DJ having a bit of fun in Tasmania. So it's a lot of local scenery and what I'm up to. I chuck in a bit of music as well, but I have a music channel, which is my channel, which I try to just show people what they're missing out on when they don't go. That was the goal for that channel. So I've got a lot of music on Australian TV. And if people want to chill out and relax at a beach for an hour and do nothing but listen to the waves and see the surf and the sand, I have a channel called Tasmania ASMR. And there's only 3 hours of beach footage there now, but slowly building that up. I just go down the beach, chuck my camera out, and record the audio and the footage and put it up, and people seem to be liking it. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
So
How's
now,
about yourself, Sean?
with us, I was just going to say, I was going to actually ask you a question about your radio channel, and that was when you're playing music, how do you get around the copyright stuff?
For my Australian Radio Indie TV, well, the obvious answer is I don't. What I do, I share the royalties with the musicians. So if you do a song for a muso, the stream actually, depending on when you get monetized, it's a 50-50 split with, what do they call it, the YouTube, when you're monetized. So when
Yep.
it gets a clip, yeah, it's a 50-50 split.
Just for those that may be interested, those that are creators, if you were to say, put in the word there, radio, your channel will actually get put out there by Nightbot, and that's okay because we're here to share and share alike. So there we go. Uh, Now, why I said that was because Troy from Nomadic Rat Pack did type in there the word radio when he said Radio Jonesy Howdy. And of course, Nightbot put out Rat Pack's channel, which is awesome. Not that
Well,
Troy
that's how
has
it
actually
works
done
for me.
anything in the last 24 months, but you know what? Go ahead and have a look anyway. We've got Lower Michigan Hiking and Camping Adventure Radio, your channel. Welcome aboard anyway. Nice to have you here. And Nightbot is saying, please check out Lower Michigan Hiking and Camping Adventures. Of course it works. Just put in the word radio and it'll happen. Oh my goodness.
Yes. Sorry about
Troy's
that. Should I
saying,
should have pre-warned you.
yeah, I know, but that's okay. That's cool. Today's a learning curve. What happens next week is different. Um, Troy is saying more like 36 months. Yeah, I know. You're a slacker, mate. You're a slacker. Roadhog is going, no, forget about the exclamation mark just before. Just type in radio. Just type in radio. Troy, we're here for the party and hanging out with these awesome people. Thank you, mate. Well, I know Jonesy's awesome. I don't know about me though. Um,
Maybe a few years back, I'm slowly sliding down that slope.
yeah, I know the feeling.
Well, it
Um,
depends who you ask.
well, if I ask Ilana, she no, shut up, Sean. Lower Michigan Hiking and Camping Adventure says thanks, friends. The governor's put in radio, not rodeo. Radio. That's
I like
correct.
radios.
Yeah.
Have you been to a rodeo,
Um,
Sean?
have I been to a rodeo? No, I haven't.
Oh man, you're missing out. Like
You're right.
usually you get music, you get action, you get the animals and the smell of it. It's awesome.
Troy is going, Rob, I think you have to do it over on Radio Jonesy's channel. Yes, that's correct. It has to happen on that channel. Nightbot has just brought out Roadhog's channel, which is awesome. And then Roadhog says, "Glad we are glad to be here." Right. Lower Michigan is going. Um, Radio Jonesy's on all my back step a lot channel. Okay, that's cool.
Oh, an
And
owl.
now
Yeah,
you get
that's
another
Al. My back step.
L.
Yeah, he's
That's
another
cool.
channel. Al, my back step. Yeah, he's a cool dude from Canada as well.
Yeah. Oh, what? We got three Kanaks in the show so far.
Well, I don't know if Al's here. He doesn't usually sit up this late. He's a bit of a softie. He goes to bed early before midnight, the witching hour. He might, turn into something strange. But
Like
he's
like like the something strange like the chariot or stop being the chariot um what's that show
other,
oh
yeah,
my god
Prince
that
Charming or
kid's
whatever,
that's it
or more
oh
like
well
Shrek.
Shrek yeah well there's only one of us Shreks right um Bush Edge Homesteading Australia enjoy the images with the music you play Radio Jonesy.
Thank you. Yeah, I do a radio show as well that goes out in 3 different countries, but that's for another discussion, I suppose. I just love music. Music's in my blood, and I was doing a radio show just before I come on air, so I've been pumping some heavy tunes into me today. So been enjoying it. Have
Governor,
you? Hey, Sean, have you heard the Angels?
which ones?
Yeah, the band, the Angels.
Yeah. I've heard them.
Yeah. All right. Have you heard the album, The Angels
Have you
with
got it?
Orchestra?
Have you got the song?
I've got them all. I got terabytes of the Angels.
Will I ever see your face again?
Yeah. Have you heard that with orchestra?
No.
Oh man, they've got an album out. Well, they toured, and they took an orchestra with them, and they filmed in Melbourne, I think, and in Adelaide, and they took the best of it and released an album and a DVD, and it is absolutely sensational. If you like the Angels, you'd love with the big volume sound of an orchestra behind them. It's awesome.
Wow. That would be great to hear. Um, Let me just back to the chat here quickly. Rob is saying, "Fine, I shall abandon Sean like the last tinny of warm beer at a family barbecue." Mate, as long as you don't use the word Foster's, we're fine. And besides, floaty boaty would be yeah, another thing. Um, so, what have you been working on with your radio show today, Jonesy?
Oh, just another program. Certain clients want rock, other clients want country, and other clients want like a mixture and pop. It's usually independent music, so I get to play the new Angels, like the Angels that are out today with Dave Gleason on vocals from the great band the Screaming Jets. He's they now re-release their music independently, so now it's available for people like me to play.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I pay licenses for all music, but
Yep.
it's good to play. My specialty and what I really love doing is really getting out to the airways music that doesn't get played on commercial radio. So that's what I do. Yeah, welcome in, Devil Dog.
I can't hear, but Ura at
He's
Jonesy
gaming.
and
He'd be on a
he's
game.
what? Oh,
He'd be
he's
on
on a
some
game, is
game.
he?
Yeah, he'd be doing all this sort of stuff. But
No,
good on him.
normal people would actually get involved in a live stream, but Devil Dog is, well, what can I say? Um,
Well, you can't hear us.
Lower Michigan, Michigan hiking is saying, I think I meant Radio Jonesy over on Dave Collar's camping first
Camping.
time.
Yeah, I think he's where I first joined the community I'm in was through Dave
Hmm.
Collier, and the expeditionary Johnny. I've got him on my. I got a little video of him on my channel throwing flaming axes with the Batman theme song, and it's quite funny. So that's a good one to look at if you get there.
Well, that's awesome of you, Devil Dog. Thank you very much, mate. But at least you've got something going on in the background there. Um, what's the album name from Camp Creek Hill?
The Angels with Orchestra, if that's what you're talking about.
Yep.
Hmm.
The link to the Downunder Cruisers is right over there. So go ahead, folks. Check up the Downunder Cruisers if you're not already associated. Auslander Info is saying, howdy, D-Dog. Wish you and all your Jarhead brothers nothing but the best in 2023. So, yes, welcome to 2023, folks. Thanks for joining us. Um,
Yep.
so, Jonesy, how did you actually get involved in YouTube?
How did I get involved? Well, it's really started with the music, where I was doing Facebook posts and Facebook pages and putting up music video clips on Facebook, and I felt it wasn't going anywhere. I felt that format was sort of, I was getting either restricted or it just wasn't moving forward to the crowd that I wanted to. So then I thought, you know what, I'll give Facebook a try, and I'll give YouTube a try. And yeah, it's sort of, I enjoy it. And then I do music videos for bands as well. So, I thought if I'm going to do them for other bands that go on their channel, I might as well do something for me on and start my channel. And that's where that all sort of kicked off. And then this page right here, like Radio Jonesy, basically is from it was Out and About with Jonesy, and that was to show my grandson where I was, because
Mm-hmm.
he's been watching YouTube and checking me out, and 'cause he lives in New South Wales.
Mm-hmm.
He suggested I change my name to Radio Jonesy because he said, "Hey Pop, I've searched Radio Jonesy and nobody's using it. You should get onto that, mate, before somebody else does." And
So you did.
so, why not?
So now, Bernie from Fairy Dust Weep the Wild Winds has got a question for you there, Jonesy. She asks, does your radio do themes such as an hour of 80s, perhaps a late night hour of punk rock? Music is one of her hobbies.
The short answer to that is no, but I do play independent, just 80s music for me. Oh, well, I should say we do, but it's like in 24 hours there'd be one program that's we call it retro, Australian Radio Indie Retro, which is and it's 80s music which isn't popular, which is great music that nobody really picked up in Radio Land. So I sort of like plucking album tracks, and yeah, people seem to like it. But yeah, if you find our Facebook page, Australian Radio Indie, you'll see some programming on when and where it's on. But it's all times will be Australian Eastern. You'd have to work from that.
So Cam Creek is saying a original with a big smile on their face. Auslander Info is saying at 5% on the phone, wish everyone an awesome 2023. God bless. Thanks,
Yes,
mate. Thanks for popping in.
he's moved to
Charge your
Queensland
phone.
too. Yeah, he's up on
Has he?
property now. He's in the middle of nowhere. So
So
thanks
he
for
needs
tuning
his
in,
phone.
Auslander. Yeah.
Yep. Troy, I don't know if watch hours are important, but I'm running all three channels at once. Mate, we really appreciate that and thank you. Bush Edge Homesteading Australia is saying you've got a smart grandson.
Yes, yes, he's an interesting little character. He's just turning 15 this year, but so he's not little anymore. He's probably as tall as me now.
late night love hour. The governor's got the voice for it. Really? I know the voice you got because you work nights.
I've done some late night radio. I've been on FM radio in a couple of stations, and the late night stuff when people ring in and they say, "Can you describe yourself?" and you go, "Well, I'm 6'6", blonde hair, blue eyes, and I'm single."
Not no blonde hair, blue eyes, and you're single. There is
We
a
have
game
some.
going in one of the channels there, the Adventures of Traveling Mike, and the game is it's some books that Destination Delight reads out, and boy, you need to have the tone of the right tones.
But trust me, I'd come home
Welcome
from that.
aboard, Outdoors. Say
I
again.
come home. I come home from that radio show. I walk in the door, and someone would go, "Bang!" I was listening. I was listening to you tonight. What are you doing? I said, "It's all about
Well,
radio. It's the illusion of radio."
welcome aboard, Outdoors with Big Matt. Sheena, welcome aboard. Nice to have you here.
Hey, Big Matt.
She's saying g'day to Matt.
Sheena.
Bernays is saying Troy's. She's on her phone watching YouTube on her phone. Feel privileged. G'day Jonesy from Sheena. Troy, fairy dust. Okay, we can talk later. I just wanted to thank you for giving my number to Lily. Troy, can I have your number? I'll spread it out to the world. Let the world know. Bush Edge Homestead heading Australia. Need to scoot, catch you guys. Nice to have you on board. Thanks for popping in. Slater.
Michael.
Michael, I didn't know his name.
Michael Slater. Good cricketer.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right. You're quicker than me there.
Gotta learn to
Howdy,
work.
Sheena from Patterson Farms. Sheena's got a thumbs up. Hello to Peterson. Good to see you. Okay, Troy, what are you going to say? Sean, yes, Destination Delights Crystal reads out a book called Dirty Minds, which is a trivia joke book on a channel called The Adventures of Traveling Mike. Lots of fun. It is. G'day, Jake. Welcome aboard from Mississippi.
Hey, Jake.
Please check out all channels. Radio Jonesy, Helping Hands for Cruising, and the Downunder Cruisers. How are you doing today is the question. Nomadic Rat Pack, Troy. Why, Sean, my number's already out there. You can get it on the truck stop door 2 blocks from my mate. The problem is getting to the two truck stop doors, 2 doors down to your house, whatever. Rob from Cruising on the High Seas. G'day, mate. Did I miss a day oversleep? It is as it must be hump day, or are you a day early? Yes.
We are.
Rob,
We
and
are
for
in
all
the
those who are
future.
coming in. Exactly, we are in the future. But if you are coming in on the Helping Hands for Cruising or the Downunder Cruisers channels, folks, we are. This is a new broadcast that Jonesy and I are doing. Jonesy is based in Tasmania. There's the Tasmanian devil. And we are based in Melbourne. And because we're trying to encourage more Aussies to come in and chat online, we've just giving this time slot a bit of a try for a while and see how we go, how many people we can introduce and bring into spending more time with us.
There's some interesting stuff about too. Like there's he just keeps running through the studio, this little fella. But
Yeah.
what about today? Did you see on the news today about the cruise ship that went into Hobart, got turned around, and went into New Zealand and got turned around for the barnacles on the hull?
I thought they were 2 different ships. I didn't think it was the same ship
It was the same
because
ship.
was it the same ship, the Coral Princess?
That's it.
Okay, so the Coral Princess was actually pulled out of, stopped from going into New Zealand waters because it had barnacles on the bottom, and I thought they'd actually cleaned that out to allow it to do its trip into New Zealand.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like, who actually gets under the water to check it out?
Well, that was my question. How the hell did they know?
Mm.
Was it was it? Did they get some whale popping up and going, "Hey, mate, let's have a look at this"?
It, it shows you these submarines are out there.
Yeah, either that. Yeah. Well, but the Kiwis are the strange ones. Anyway, what
Yes,
can I say?
we won't go down that road with. Yeah, I'll just stop there because it'll only get me in trouble. Yeah,
Which channel are
remember.
we referring to?
Oh no, yeah, Greenpeace, New Zealand.
Yeah, that mob.
That's, yes, we won't.
Yeah. No, we won't go there
We won't.
because I believe, yeah, politically they might do some funny things. Sean, that's great that you're trying to get more locals into your chat because we over ponders just ain't right. We even drive on the wrong side of the road. Yeah, we know that.
It's fun over there,
We've been
but
trying to. We've been trying to tell you guys that you guys may drive on the right, but we actually drive on the correct side.
correct.
So Don and Tony left you down there now on their way to New Zealand. They're actually on a Holland America cruise ship right now. So, yep, you're right.
And they did say on the program that I seen it on that they will be reimbursed. So they've had a nice little cruise around. Mightn't have docked in a
Yep.
couple of ports, but they've had a good holiday.
Yeah, well, the folks there will be reimbursed for stuff that they haven't seen. So they won't be reimbursed on the entire
Yep.
cruise, but just the ports they haven't been into. Camp Creek Hill was just going to ask the same questions, considering that they didn't do that with the Pacific Sea Starfish. Yeah, well. Ilana's asking, Jonesy, what's your favourite band?
Ooh, that's a tough question, and it'd be a band you've never heard of. There's there's a number of bands, to be honest. Um, there's a poster there. That's a Sydney band called Storm Cellar. Absolutely fabulous band. And there's a band called Love Child as well from Sydney. An absolutely great band. Yep.
I know Love Child.
Yes, they're a bunch of great guys, and Dennis, there's big things coming in 2023 with them guys too. A couple of lineup changes, I think. They've got Dennis is working with Spencer Jones. You remember Spencer Jones, who was on The Voice, the little bloke with
Yes.
the long hair?
Yes.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
he's singing with Dennis now, so they're going to re-release a couple of tracks, I think, and they're bringing out a reworked version of a Sherbet song as well. But seeing them guys live, they're just top class bands. Yeah, but there's plenty around. You just got to look.
Yep. My next question to you was, what ships are going to be coming in out of your window tomorrow?
Ooh, good question. I'm unprepared for that one. And my phone is inside the house. Yes, I'm not sure, but whatever it is, well, hey, can you hear the rain coming through the mic?
No.
No. Typical Tasmania. We had blue sky a minute ago. Now it's coming down nice and wet, which is good. I need to garden tomorrow. Don't have to hose.
Yep. That makes it even better.
It does. It does. Yeah, I'm not too sure what cruises, but we are getting the regatta. And what was what was that? Like a Swedish one that was in the other day.
The Viking.
Was that one?
The Viking
No,
Orion, I think it is.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Anyway, it's I could go grab my phone, but I have to walk from this room into another house, into the house, and come back out the back to the studio. But or I could
You could
Google
ask
it.
her.
I could Google it online here
You
if I
could.
was smart. Let's
or
just go to
lazy, or
it.
both?
Actually, I won't go to that computer because I got one just sitting right here. But yes, cruises. I'll be more up to date with them next week for you, and I might even actually
So,
show you some footage of the cruises coming in.
well, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. We actually had the Grand Princess in today, and the Adamar as well were both in today at Station Pier. Tomorrow we've got Azamara's Quest and the Celebrity Eclipse coming into Melbourne tomorrow. And then on Thursday we've got the Queen Elizabeth. So I think that Viking ship that you had was the Viking Orion because that's going to be here on the 8th.
Yeah, and we did get the Queen Elizabeth here as well, actually.
Yep. Jonesy,
I'm just
Ilana's asked the question, are you in Burnie?
Yes, that's correct. We overlook the harbour. It's quite. We're a little bit back, but we got a great view of the ocean and the harbour.
So for those that are uninitiated, the major towns on Tasmania.
We got the biggest. The biggest one is Hobart down south. Which, if you live up the top here, you don't really like the Southerners, but that's another story. And then you
Sydney,
come up.
Melbourne.
Well, you come up from Hobart down the bottom, up the top. You've got Launceston, Devonport, Burnie. You got Ulverston. All these sort of smaller towns. But yeah, we're the fourth largest. They call us a city, and there's I think the population is 20,000. So it's more like a big country town. Yeah.
And what's for the uninitiated? What's Burnie famous for?
Paper making. Basically, rip wood chip, turn it into paper. You know, old John Williamson song.
Mm-hmm.
But now they don't make the paper here. They just bring in the wood from the state forests that are growing sustainable trees. So it's now like it's probably the best recycling that they can do. They're not ripping down old rainforest anymore. They're actually growing the trees and bringing them in and chipping them down. And in come the ships from Asia. They load them up with the wood chips and out they go. That's and then we got bulk carriers as well that come in with freight and other things. But yeah, it's an interesting lifestyle. You got a nice beach on a port, so you got a lot of activities going on.
So Roadhog says you definitely do have a great view.
Yeah, thank you.
Ilana is saying looks like just cargo, no passenger ships for a while. So
Over
she was
here?
actually checking. She
Yeah, I
was
was
actually checking what shipping you were
port
getting.
schedule. Yeah, okay. Oh well, anyway, that's a shame.
Well, g'day Z. Welcome aboard, mate. Are you awake or what? Welcome in. Welcome in. Camp Creek Hill is saying the Australian paper mill in Gippsland has gone as well. All Aussie industries are under attack. It's not hard to
Yes.
understand that one.
It's sort of sad in a way how
Yeah, it is.
our all of our industry and our production and our machines, and it's like it's just getting too expensive to run a factory with electricity costs. It's
Correct.
unbelievable.
Correct. So Z is saying that he's wide awake, which is awesome. How many bottles of that Fireball have you got left, mate? I hope you haven't finished it all. But you're not born and bred in Tassie, are you?
No, I was born at a little town called Werris Creek, and that's up towards Tamworth, Gunnedah region. My grandfather was born at Werris Creek. My father was born at Werris Creek, and I was born at Werris Creek. And the best thing I could think about living, I bought 5 acres there, but I sort of gravitated to the ocean. I just wanted to be closer to water, so I moved down to Lake Macquarie. I moved to Sydney, then back to Lake Macquarie, and then to the entrance. I don't know if you know the entrance there on the Central Coast. We're on
Sure
the
do.
we're on the beach there for a while,
Hmm.
and we've moved from there down to here, which is I should have done this 20 years ago because down here is pretty cool.
You're right, it is. It's a fridge there. It's
It's pretty
Australia's
cool.
fridge.
Oh look, mate, I'm in t-shirt weather, like it is summer, but
Yeah, I know it's summer. What's your temp today?
mate, we wouldn't have got over 20. I wouldn't imagine. What's the computer say right now?
Right now it's 16 here.
Yeah, it's 14 here and rain. There's not much difference, mate. Melbourne and the top of Tasmania is pretty much the same,
Yeah,
except for them big dry heat waves. We don't seem to get them here. That heat,
yeah,
when you get the dry heat comes in from Adelaide across.
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
we don't get any of that.
Z says he's got 2.5 bottles left. Hey, the towns in Oz you've been to. So you've been obviously Sydney, Tamworth. You've been down Adelaide.
Yep, been to all through Queensland, um, all through Melbourne, Victoria, all through New South Wales. Like you name a town in New South Wales, and I've been there. I've done the whole shebang. Um, and I had a job once a while back. It was a policeman that once stood on a brown snake and got bitten,
Hmm.
and a company got a contract with a remote controlled lawnmower to mow GPS coordinates at every single place a police is going to stop and try to do a mobile speed stop or a spot where they stop to just park off the road. And so I had the
Yep,
whole state, me and another guy, we used to drive around the whole state mowing these little police hidey holes. We had GPS coordinates. You'd punch it in the computer. So he'd
yep,
take me there, and it'd say stop, and you'd look to the side, and you'd see sort of where a car tries to get off into the long grass, and you had to get
yep.
in there, and mow it. And boy, we found some weird and wonderful stuff. That
I
yeah,
can imagine you would.
oh, plenty of snakes. I can tell you that. But that's another story.
Camp Creek Hill says his kids were born on the Central Coast. We lived at Sharmhaven for 5 years.
Yeah, my daughter's there right now. Actually, my eldest. She manages there at the Wyong Leagues Club.
Oh, that's awesome. So, but have you been west as well?
Um, not to Western Australia. No, haven't been to the Northern Territory either.
Me
I've
neither.
been through. I've been all through America. You think I'd go
Yeah,
to
we
Western
do that
Australia
sort of thing.
first?
We go to those countries before we actually look at ours, right?
Right, that's it.
Um, Jonesy, you've got a message from Z to say he likes your studio. It's pretty.
Oh,
You
it
should
is quite
see. You should actually
pretty.
see his backdrop.
Oh, I ain't got a backdrop. Oh, I can't
You
do that.
do. It's outside the window.
Oh, I can't do that. I was going to take my camera off my tripod, but he'll disconnect, so I better not.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, but if I spin it, what am I doing? It's on a tripod. I got, you know, it's a bit of a mess, but there's the drums and
You
there we go.
disconnected.
Hang on, camera number 2 is about to kick in. I think. Let me do it. Hang on, give me a sec.
It's all right. Take your time.
Camera.
We're only on a live stream, you know.
Oh, that's camera number 2.
There we, there we go.
This is camera number 1. I'm very
So So how long you been in Taz?
About a year and a half. Not that long, to be honest.
And it's the biggest mistake you ever made not.
No, here we go. Camera number one's back. No, I wish I come here 20 years ago, mate. Definitely. People are nice and friendly. Everything's slower. The land is cheaper. Uh, Bills are cheap, like your electricity bills, your water rates, your rates. Everything's just like it was back in the 80s, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I should have come here 20 years ago. I should have. But, I'm here now.
That's all right. Enjoy
Everyone
it.
likes to come and visit too. Yeah, mate.
Ex-
And how many people, like everyone says, oh, Tassie, I'll be down. And you go, yeah, all right. And you go, well, got a spare room? And you go, well, we bought a 5-bedroom place just to make sure that there's only 3 of us here.
yeah.
Yeah. The dog's got his own room.
Does he really?
Basically, he doesn't know it's his room, but he's got one of his beds in there.
That's funny. So, what are outside of Radio Jonesy's the channel? What other things are you working on right now?
What'd you say, for the channel or outside the channel?
Aside from the channel.
Oh, I do radio work, which really won't pay the bills. Radio is glorified. Unless you get a job where you've got a major city and you get a commission on the ad revenue, you're never going to make a lot of money in radio. But I pick up odd jobs here and there. I've been auditing some they call it TAS networks down here, so I've been out doing some auditing work with them. Just whatever I can pick up to pay a few bills, and I don't try to work too hard. I'm in a sort of semi-retirement. If we didn't
So,
have to landscape, I would be completely retired.
yeah, that'd
But
be awesome.
yeah,
Cam Creek Hill says his best mate lives in Ulverston. Great people, redneck ferals with a heart of gold.
well, there's some rednecks everywhere, but it is a lovely town.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, what other news items have you got going on in Tassie? Because right now Melbourne is just trying to get back on its feet.
Yeah, we just had the wine food festival where
Yep.
that was down in Hobart. It was a major success. It was booked out with there was all the food and wine and everything associated with Tasmania was there on display. You bought a ticket, or you bought a daily ticket, or you bought a ticket for the event. It
Hmm.
was a complete success. They had music. They had obviously they had fireworks because it went over New Year's Eve as well. And we'll definitely be there next year. We're really looking forward to going down to it. Yeah, that was a huge, huge success. They were saying all over the news. There was 60% of the people that went come from the mainland. So that
Yeah,
just shows you. Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense because the mainland really don't. I mean, once you've been to the Yarra Valley, I mean, what else is there? Tasmania. I mean, there's nothing crossing the New South Wales border that is any better than the Yarra Valley.
I'll tell you what, down here, you can snow ski. The same day, you could go to the beach if you're cool, if you like swimming in cool water. But like you can snow ski down at Ben Lomond, and then you can
Yep.
go down to one of the beaches, which is like half an hour away. So you could go mountaineering. You can go. The big thing at the moment is BMX bike trails, which I've got no intentions of going on one, but that's a
No.
really huge thing at the moment. I tell you one thing, you can't get back. I mean, if I booked the boat out, the ferry. I can get the ferry to the mainland and take my car and go on a trip, but
Yep.
I can't get a ferry back. It's booked out for months.
Really?
Yeah, the best way in and out
So
at the moment is flying.
so we've got to try and figure out how you guys gonna come on the cruise if you come on the cruise.
Well, March will be it thins out at about then, and that's when they bring their second boat back into operation, or the third boat, whichever way they're going. They're getting two new boats or ships or ferries or whatever you want to call them. They've been ordered and they're coming into service probably a year from now.
I wonder what
But
happened to the
if
ferry that went out of Sydney.
which one?
Well, the Spirit of Tasmania went out from Melbourne to Devonport, and then they also had one running from Sydney down to Devonport, or was it Launceston?
Uh, I, that's news to me.
And then they shut it down. Would have been about 3 or 5 or 7 years ago,
I'll tell you what, if they can
because they
sail them yachts down,
they reckon it
Sydney to
it
Hobart.
wasn't profitable,
Yeah,
and those
well,
yachts go down a
the
lot
ship,
quicker than the ferry does.
yeah, well, I was talking to the ferry, the a few people that work for Toll, which is one of the ships that go across to Melbourne and back.
Yeah.
Um, Everything's computerized, like modern day technology. They can
Uh,
work out how many liters of diesel it's going to use and to get from where they want to be, and they can do the crossing in about 6.5, 7 hours if they have to. But they take 12 hours to do it on the ones that do the freight, because it's economical that way. So,
and also Bass
yeah,
Strait is not as flat as they think it is.
man, like I said to you, I've come across them back 6 times, and honestly, I haven't had a bad crossing yet. So it's a bit over. The ones that it's like anything you see on YouTube or anywhere else, you only see the bad things when the bad things are happening. You never see the
Yeah, that's
good
true.
things time and time and time again. You know, I've crossed it once and it was like glass. It was
Um,
fantastic.
Z has asked the question: what kind of government do you have down in Tassie?
What kind of government? As in
Well,
what, Liberal or Labor? Is that what you're saying?
well, let's give them a quick history on South Africa. South Africa, listen to me, wrong country. On Australian politics right now, Australia is a federation, and then each one of the states is self-governing. So we have 7 states. Victoria, which is the best state and was the very first national capital. Okay, Jonesy, I'll shut up. New South Wales, the Australian Capital Territory, which is now the capital of Australia, Canberra. Queensland, Western Australia, South Australia, and Northern Territory, and Tasmania is a state as well. Each one of the states has a premier, so they run a bicameral party state. So right now, the governing party in Queensland, in Tasmania, is Liberal, Labor.
Liberal. Yep.
Uh-huh.
It's they say we should. They say there's enough economic growth here for this to be their own country. Like, they don't need the mainland to survive here with the revenue. They say with the 500,000 people that are here, the actual capital that gets made through tourism and everything else, the electricity they make their own, and it's cheaper than the mainland, except for now they've connected to the mainland, and we have to pay the mainland fees. But here's one thing I can tell you about Tasmania. Your monthly bill is X, so it was $130 for the month for the electricity bill. Well, the state government gives us $50 towards that to compensate us, because we have to pay the same price as mainlanders. So I
Mm.
only have to pay $90 or $70 or whatever it was. But it is, you do get looked after.
What does Tassie use to create its electricity? Hydro.
Hydro, yeah.
And you got
Plenty of
plenty
water.
of it.
And
Plenty of
plenty
it.
of mountains for it to fly down them rivers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Camp Creek Hill. I'd love to move to Penguin. I love that train that runs along the coast. Could be an awesome tourist train.
It could, but I wish it was. It starts and finishes here, right here at Burnie. It's what it is, Sean. It's a train that comes in and picks up the freight, and it runs right around the coast. It looks magnificent. And we hear the 2 o'clock. There's three rail crossings in Burnie, and I'm glad we don't live closer to them, because at about 2 a.m. the train comes in at about that time, and you know how they have to hit the horn at crossing the crossing, and you hear it.
That'd wake the dead.
Oh, we used to hear it, but we don't hear it anymore. We used to now. But some houses are right there.
The goddamn bacon was. Yo, what's up here? Welcome aboard. Cam Creek is saying that it's a shame they run out of Geelong now. Yeah, it is a shame. Obviously, Station Pier got a little bit too expensive, I think, and cruising is more of a viable option, I guess. But
It looks pretty
you don't
cool,
know what it's
the
doing
new-
Geelong a lot of good.
And the new building that they built there for the company to go there now is you've got space, you've got room to park, they've got a restaurant. Like before, you had to park in the street and wait for your chance to go through the docks to get on the boat. Well, now you can make it an event. You can get there, go in, have a feed, wait for your turn for your boat to come in, or meet people and pick them up, or whatever it is. But it's quite nice building that they've built.
Nomadic Rat Pack Troy is saying, Sean Jonesy, I'm off to bed. It's 2 a.m. here in the States. I'm going to leave the channels running. You have a good night. Thank you, mate. Really appreciate that.
Thanks,
Camp
mate.
Creek Hill is saying that they are Labor in Queensland.
Yep,
The
that's
goddamn
correct.
bacon. Say that again, Jonesy.
No, that's correct. Yeah, Labor's in Queensland, and she's a funny one, I think.
Yeah, she is. The goddamn bacon is saying us WA state residents have the Cooley Dam citation needed to power most of it, if not the entire state. Cheapest energy rates in the nation, especially if your place uses natural gas too.
Right. Well, I'll tell you one thing we're doing this year. We got 3 fireplaces in our house, and they're all boarded up. They've been boarded up since we've been here. One's a bookshelf, one's completely boarded up, and just like a white wall. We're going to open one of them, if not 2 of them, up for this coming winter, and we're just going to use firewood.
Yeah, it's much cheaper that way. Bido Nick,
think
how
so.
you going, buddy?
Yeah, that's my mate. That's my mate Andy from the Odd Collective.
The Odd Collective. She's Joe Bielke in a dress. Yeah, you know what? She sounds like it. We were here when you young whippersnippers were doing your thing, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Andy's
Yeah, I
just released
forgot-
a new single too. He's
Yeah.
Eleanor Rigby. He's reworked it into a lovely rock song. So if you get a chance to check out the Odd Collective ALT's new single, Eleanor Rigby, you will not be disappointed. And if you go to
We'll jump onto
YouTube, I done the video. Just get a plug in.
You did the video, just self shameless promotion, right? G'day.
Self-promotion. That's it.
Yeah. G'day, Mount Homestead. Welcome aboard. Nick is saying that he leaves in 2 weeks from Saturday for Europe. G'day from the Odd Collective. Now Nick is actually going into Ireland and Germany, and he's going to spend a couple of nights at some castles in Ireland. Excuse me.
Oh, nice. Be a bit cool this time of year.
Yeah, it would be. Camp Creek Hill, use them while you can. They want to ban wood fireplaces in 7 years.
Yeah. I hear you. you know why? They want you to use power.
Correct. And you know what the best way to use power? Just plug into anything that's reusable, like solar or your hydro or whatever. It's much better.
Yeah.
Odd Collective, as bent as, and saying cheers, mate.
Yes, and if Andy, if you type in radio, your link will drop, and maybe you might grab another one or two. Yeah, MT
Um,
Homestead.
MT Homestead, g'day to you. To the goddamn bacon, and likewise as well. Um, okay, so I'm just clicking on everything so everybody gets a chance to get some benefit. And there we go, radio going in the Odd Collective. And what do you know, Nightbot does the trick.
Yeah, so if you haven't connected with Andy, he's an up and coming musician from the other end of the spectrum. So he's an old Eddie from way back. Now he's out there doing his thing, and he's doing some good stuff. He's got some good music.
Jonesy, how far back do you go in terms
Yeah,
of bands?
where? How far back? Oh, I don't know. Well, how far back do you want me to go? Back to the 80s?
So when you
70s?
started, when you started,
When I started?
yep.
Mate, I'm a late bloomer. I'm hopeless, to be honest. But I hang out with too many good people to be able to say I'm a good musician or anything like that. So, you know, if I get a chance to play, I'll jump and have a crack. But definitely, I'm more of a radio guy.
Goddamn
So
Bacon is saying the only time he had a
I'm all
wood.
set up here for the party.
Anybody wants a party? Come on round.
That's
The
it.
goddamn Bacon is saying the only time he had a wood burning stove was when he lived in ski country. Saved both me and my ex when the power went out.
Yeah.
Thing is, even though it was a remote area, it had hydropower for the town.
Yeah, I lived in Lake Macquarie and I put a fireplace in and we only used it 2 months of the year. But I wanted the fireplace because we had fireplaces as children where we used to live in the country. And I wanted my kids growing up to have that sort of fireplace feel, the warmth, you know, inside the house, even if it was only for 2 months of the year. Well, we had a massive storm, wiped out the power, and we had the fireplace going. We could cook on it. We could boil the kettle on it. We had light from the fire. We had plenty of wood to burn, and people would drive past our place in the dead of night or during the darkness. They'd look in and they'd see this lovely warm glow. Friends would pop over and say, "How come you guys have got power? What's going on?" And we said, "We got a fireplace, mate. Yeah, come in and get warm."
Either that or you got a generator sitting somewhere.
Yeah, well, actually, that was funny because generators all got. Everyone went to Bunnings and bought every generator they could buy, and you couldn't buy a generator for love or money. You know, and that was a big. Remember when the ship landed in on the coastline there at Newcastle? What was that
Yes.
ship called? That was that storm. The Pashabolka. Was that it? The
That's it.
Pashabolka?
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Well, when that storm happened, this was when all this happened. We were out of power for about 3-4 days, and you'd open the fridge and you'd just go out the back on the gas barbie, fire her up, you know, cook your food, sit inside with it was pouring with rain, you know, so we'd be all nice and warm and dry inside. So you can't beat a fireplace.
No. No. So some people are actually inventing these electronic ones. You know, the ones that sits on your computer screen. Looks like a
Well, when it-
fireplace, smells like a fireplace.
Yeah,
What is
we were touring with Stormsight, and we were in Kansas. No, we're in Memphis. We're in Memphis, and it was middle of winter, and I was sharing a room with this guitarist, you know, and we're both laying on these single beds, and we got about 75 channels to flick through, and we're flicking through all these channels. What are we going to watch? Oh, no, don't watch that, keep going. And we found a fireplace, and because it was cold, and we had the air conditioning on, obviously, but we watched this fireplace, and we're just laying back in the bed. He's playing the guitar, and I'm just chilling out. And we're just watching this fireplace, and we felt warm, even though it wasn't giving out any heat. It
Yeah.
was a bit of, and all it was a
Psychological.
fireplace. Yeah, yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, I'll never
Cam
forget
Creek
that.
says, Cam Creek says, wood heats your home like nothing else. It's so lovely to look at. Um, Patterson Farms is saying g'day, saying g'day to MT. The Odd Collective. Pasha Bulka, Nobby's Beach.
Nobby's
Gateshead, no
Beach.
power, 13 days.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we took our kids up there for photos. Everyone's going up there for a selfie with the ship. It was on the
Yep,
beach. That was quite funny.
yep. And then Peterson Farms is just saying that he's just got to work. That's nice. I'm glad you're safe, mate.
Good
I know
guy,
that,
Phil.
yeah,
He's got a tractor. Well, he's just
yeah.
bought a new tractor, but his old tractor was a Kubota, and he done a film clip for it with the My Sharona song, but he was
Mm,
doing My Kubota. Dun, 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 dun. You know, he's driving around the tractor. Dun, 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 dun.
yep.
My Kubota. It was quite funny. That's on his
He's
channel.
saying,
Go check it out.
we'll keep you running. Thanks for the drive time, entertainment. You'll have a great day or night. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Um,
Phil.
Empty Homestead, hello and good morning, Peterson family, sorry. Um, Again, Goddamn Bacon is saying nothing quite like a wood fire as ambiance indoors, as long as it's not your actual house that's on fire.
Well, that's sort of yes, but no, there's nothing like a big glass door on a combustion fire, and you can slow the heat down, and the flames go slower, and you're sitting there with a few drinks, looking at the. Don't worry about the big screen TV. Just look at the fireplace and just yeah, zone out
Yeah, just zone out. I can
and
tell you,
relax.
Z, that watching a fireplace is much better than having Fireball.
So you
Just
can have
saying.
fireball and watch the fireplace.
No, 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 don't put the two together now, please. Seriously, now we've got some major issues on our hands.
Oh, okay. But no, we've had some good times around the fireplace. I can tell you that. Well, we're actually looking forward to getting it sorted out here
Yep.
in the next month before the winter rush.
Now, do you own the house or are you renting it?
No, no, no. We own every single part of it.
So
Yeah.
you can open up and close it down and do whatever you like with the fireplaces.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're completely debt free and living the dream. But she wants to get some landscaping done. Hence, I've gone back to do some work because I don't want to spend any money that we got saved. I'll go back
What
to earning the money.
what landscaping does she want you to do?
Oh, out the front, we've got a steep yard, and there's no driveway, and there's no ramp. It's actually stairs. So to put the bin out, we've got to go down about 19 steps with the bin. And I said, well, we'll put a ramp going from this side to that side, and then we're going to put a deck out the front as well with a new front door. And yeah, we're probably going to spend about 40,000 doing it. So I thought, well, I'll go back to work. Yeah,
Make
get some
two
money in.
make just make one video, one music video. That should get you your 40 grand like that.
Ah, them days are gone, mate. The money in music is absolutely disappeared. If people ever think they're going to get rich with music, man, I think are you still in the chat there, Andy? If you are, you'll just say your single you released a year ago, but you don't care. With the streaming services and that, have you cracked $100 with that yet? And it probably would have cost about $3,000 to make. So music
Cam
is very
Creek
hard. It's a very hard industry.
Cam Creek here is giving us a heads up hot tip. The best way to clean the glass on your fireplace is to use the ash from the box makes a paste with water.
Thank you. I'll give that a crack.
For the uninitiated, the words "give it a crack" means give it a go. He's not actually meaning crack the glass on the screen.
Yes, well, what is it? We're in Australia, aren't we? How many overseas people have we got in the chat?
I would
A
say
few.
that the majority of those that are sitting on the Downunder Cruisers would be, with the exception of one, two. So currently I've got seven. So five of them over there are currently in the US on the
Okay,
Down Under
wow.
Cruises.
Hey,
Um,
Raquel in Canada, are you still awake? Haven't seen a comment for a while. It is, what, about 5 a.m. or something?
yeah, I know. She was trying to stay awake.
She was. She's a
Um,
bit of a champ.
Mike from the Traveling Adventures is saying, Sean, did you say manscaping or landscaping? Just joking. I'm sorry. I had to. It's lady. Mate, you're too busy thinking about Crystal. I know, you've got that book in your mind. Dirty Minds. Um,
And you got
Camp
to
Creek
manscape
Hill,
once.
yeah, make a cheap dumbwaiter with a car winch for your bins.
Yeah, it's we're gonna do. Yeah, I got two retaining walls, and then a third one that's on a bit of an angle, and I'm gonna basically redo them and chuck a ramp in sideways, and just have a nice easy access because I'm getting no younger, and one day when I'm in my wheelchair, I want to be able to have one of those powered wheelchairs where I just press a button and I can wheel myself up to the front door,
Mate,
and then
where's your
I'll
sense
play.
of fun? You let the
Okay, well,
wheelchair go on freewheel and you race it down the driveway and see where it takes you down the street.
but I want to go up from down
Uh,
from
oh,
when I'm down
oh.
when I'm down in the street level. No,
So then you
I'm just
get
gonna
it.
have a bit of fun. Yeah, bit of fun
You, you
landscaping.
you get a young grandkid to come and push you up the hill again.
Yeah, I'd have to pay him. I think he's not that silly.
Goddamn Bacon says, "You mean to tell me my hit single with me soloing with the triangle won't make me six figures this month? Throws all
Well,
3,000 CD samples into the ocean."
it's a very hard industry. You know what? The people who make money out of the music scene are the third parties, the people
Yep.
with recording rooms, music producers, uh, all that side of it, the management side of it, the actual people doing the hard graft, writing the music, getting it recorded. It's just good today that the recording techniques are a lot easier, and a lot of the recordings can be done from the house now, like a home
Yep.
studio. If they're done right and done corrected and produced well, they do sound good. But there are a lot of uh, slower ones, bad ones that sort of they record them at home, think they're good, they give them to a radio station to play, and yeah, you can hear like all these sort of noises in the background, and you go, mate, just clean it up. Anyway,
Campiel says the paste works like GIF on
yeah,
your.
no, it sounds. I heard that before, but I heard you mixed it with toothpaste or something. I did hear someone say you get some toothpaste, squeeze it in a little plate, put some ash in it, mash it around a bit, and then use that. I've seen that on one of the cleaning programs.
The Odd Collective is saying, Jonesy, I'll have all master versions, full album overnight.
Oh, excellent. Well, you better give them to me before I start playing all the other ones that aren't mastered, because I did put one in a radio program, but we won't talk about that.
MT Homestead is saying, have a good one, Jonesy. Got to head off to work now. So,
Thanks
mate.
for tuning. Yeah, good guy, Mike. Thank you.
Campiel Creek saying it doesn't scratch the glass.
Yeah, no, that's a great tip. I could have used that on my last fireplace because it was rather burntish, sort of yellowish. Yeah.
So, are you gonna get are you gonna do anything to the fireplace other than unboard it? You gonna
Uh,
do any
yeah,
repair?
yeah. No, we'll onboard it. We were talking to the guy who wants to sell us uh, s- a combustion fire. He wants us to put a PowerPoint in and use the fan at the back to instead of the heat going up the chimney, the fan will pump it out into the room. You'll lose too much of your heat, heading out. But uh, we'll wait and we'll wait and see what. We had about 3 different quotes from 3 different people last year, and we ended up just running with the heat pump, and it worked, but it's just not the same.
Mate, isn't it good to say last year?
It is actually 2023. This is the place to be, right here, right now.
Mate, you're a poet and
We
you didn't
sure.
even know it, eh?
I'm a radio guy, mate. You got to know these things. You got
Oh
to think
shit,
what
yeah, I
rhymes with
forgot. Sorry.
2023. This is the place to be.
Woohoo! On what's it on radio? Jonsey.
On the Sean and Radio Jonesy show. What did
Hey,
you
we should
actually
have
call this?
a.
What's happening down in on the What's Happening Down Under with Sean and Jonesy. The place to be in 2023.
That slogan, the header name is going to change as time goes by. So what's happening down under staying, and then we'll change how we say the with Sean and Jonesy or whatever, Jonesy and Sean, whatever.
Yeah. What's happening down under is fine.
Yep,
That's all we need to do
yep.
because it.
Camp Creek Hill is saying combustion heater bloke is right. A fireplace doesn't heat the whole house.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we got 3 fireplaces, so we're thinking maybe we'll have one as an open fireplace, just for the ambience of the crackle, and one as a combustion that's the safe one that you can run overnight when you go to sleep, and probably the third one we just leave as a bookshelf. I don't,
Is,
you know,
is that the one? Is that the one where you burn all the books that you don't want to read?
yeah. Well, they've done a good job boarding them up. They've really done a professional job doing it, and I just thought it's a 100-year-old house. Yeah, if they got a big house and they put 3 fireplaces in, there's a reason they did it that way, because it gets bloody cold in Tasmania in winter. And yeah, we're gonna give 2 of them a crack, I'd reckon.
So have you actually studied the history of your house?
No, but the real local real estate just told us this where our house is the original house on the hill. That's as far as, and this was an orchard, um, like a mini little farm,
Mm-hmm.
and that basically they sold off the blocks up this street and up that way, and yeah, that's why you haven't got a driveway, because next door's got the driveway that was connected to this house.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, apart from that, it's you go underneath the house and you look at the piers and you go, "Oh, this doesn't look right." But when the house inspector guy come around and we went through everything, he said, "Mate, they don't build piers like this anymore." I said, "No, I've never seen them like this." He said, "Mate, Tasmanian hardwood, these things have been here for 100 years. They ain't going nowhere."
That's awesome. I've been in a house where we've had to re-stump the house. It's like, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
The goddamn bacon says, well, one wouldn't think the original building in any one property would be an outhouse, that yet here we are.
Um, yeah, can you rephrase that? One wouldn't think the original building in anyone's property would be an outhouse. Well, there probably was an outhouse out here. You can see where the old septic was, and you can see where the old water heater was. There's all these sort of old little I tell you what, railway sleepers, like they've got railway sleepers underground everywhere for holding the dirt back. And when I was in the redoing some lawns and doing some raking and some putting some seed down, I was hitting these little steel things just under the grass, about that big. And I'm thinking, what's that? And I couldn't move it. So then I get the pick out and I start digging it. And up come these like rail sleepers with these massive steel spikes. They're everywhere in the backyard here. So yeah, you wouldn't want to fall over and not and connect with one because geez, they're heavy, and I've got them out the front. I don't know what to do with them actually. Big, they're about this big, and the big spikes on them up the top and big spikes on them underneath. Obviously, they put the sleepers through them in the old days.
Yep. You know what the benefit to that is? All you need to do is put some sort of propellant underneath and then just fly it up in the air and use it as a missile at Canberra. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I could always take it down on the beach and use it as an anchor.
That's true.
It'll eventually rust.
Not that you've got a floaty boaty, as
Actually, actually,
as the governor would say.
actually, we've got some hydrangeas here, and they've got the big flowers that come out. Actually, one of the people on one of my lives said, get some nails and put the iron in the ground, like the nails will rust in the ground, and the flowers will take the iron in and change to different colours. So maybe I just put them back in the garden where the hydrangeas are, and they can
It's an
slowly
idea.
rust away. Yes, that's a good thinking, because I'm never going to mow there.
No, you're never going to mow over the hydrangeas.
Gardening, hey? Who would have thought I'd be talking about gardening? I'm an old
Midnight
fogey.
oil.
I didn't even know it. Oh yeah, Midnight Oil. Check them out. But and why was Midnight Oil called Midnight Oil?
Now that's a good question. I have no idea. Maybe because they burnt the midnight oil trying to get their music together.
I think it had something to do with syringes and spoons, as in
Oh,
surfing on a spoon. Remember that
yep,
song? From Midnight Oil?
yep.
So we won't go down that road, I don't think, if
No.
you want to. But yeah, bands with their names. I could be wrong, but yeah, a bunch of university students doing law ended up making more money being musos in the 80s and 90s.
Yep.
Awesome.
One of them did become a politician and then
Peter
very
Garrett.
quickly lost his seat.
Yeah, well, you know, what can I say? Anyway, I used to follow them, mate. I'd see them twice a night. You know, I'd go to like a club in Western Sydney, and then I'd go to the beaches where they'd play the early show and the late show. You know, bands like the Radiators, the Angels, the Church, Baby
I remember
Animal.
seeing, I remember seeing Ozzy Crawl at a place in Richmond.
Yep, Melbourne band. Yep.
Yep, them were the nights.
I was waiting for the punchline, but there is no punchline. You just went to the gig.
No. Yep, I went to the gig. It was a good gig. It was great
Uh,
fun.
Australian music, mate. We were, back in the 70s, my older brother dragged me to AC/DC shows. Like, how lucky was I?
Yep.
Like, I was underage, getting dragged around with my brother in like, he had a HQ panel van, and we're driving around to these weird and wonderful pubs where there's bikies and all sorts of people wearing all sorts of weird and wonderful outfits. And here's the young Jonesy with his brother trying to some venues I could squeeze in. They let me in there. Yeah, come on, mate. There you go. And other venues, hey, get out of here, you young whippersnapper. And
Yep.
you watch the gig from the car park, which you could hear it crystal clear anyway, being AC/DC.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, so, and most of the action was outside too. So yeah, my brother would come out with like a shandy and a packet of chicken chips, and he'd say, "Here you go, behave yourself. I'll be back later." And I'd be out there having a great time.
Hey, what was the first band Aussie band to really make it in the US.
Ooh, first Aussie band. All right. So we're going back to the 60s or the 70s.
Don't know.
It's hard to
The
say.
first the first Aussie band that would actually have made it big.
See, like
It's
bands
like
like
a
Air Supply done well over there
yeah,
back in the day.
but
Yeah,
but
Andy would know.
Air Supply when they went over, they totally cut ties with Australia.
Yeah, well, maybe. It was like AC/DC was just raw, and that's when they went overseas in around 77. I think Highway to Hell came out in 79, and obviously Back in Black in 81. I remember them crystal clear. Um, yeah, and they turned up as a raw pub band, so that rawness, which everyone loved, was standard in Australia. Like all bands do that rawness, but
Yeah.
overseas that wasn't there. They were trying to be fancy and finesse, and yeah, it was just interesting. Like the Angels went over there and couldn't crack it. Like um, Sherbet went over there and had to change their name to
Couldn't.
Highway,
Oh,
and
really? I
and
didn't
they
know that.
yeah, because of Sherbet, there was something to do with the name Sherbet wasn't well liked over there, so they had to change their name to Highway, and they released some
Camp
songs.
Creek. Camp Creek is saying that correct. Midnight Oil's name came from the Jimi Hendrix song "Burning the Midnight Lamp." Um, he then goes on to say, "What about LRB, Little River Band? I didn't
Massive.
think Little River Band made it that big.
Oh, they're huge.
Although,
Yeah, absolutely massive. Yeah.
although
What about
John
this
Paul Young made it big around the world too,
Squeak? Squeaky.
and
John Paul
he
Young.
was early '70s anyway.
Yeah. When like he got set up with down at Countdown. Did you hear? Those like I like hearing all the backstories because I get to meet all these guys and
Yep,
you talk to them and yeah, like things like if you can remember John Paul Young, yeah, JPY. He was
yep.
he was a young bloke. He was down in Countdown, and the girls were ripping his shirt, like ripping his clothes, and doing all like he was told, what we're going to do, mate. We're going to put these sort of loose shirt on you, and easily the sleeves are already half unstitched, so girls will be able to rip the
Mm.
sleeves off, and it'll be great footage. So he's there trying to sing a song, and the girls get told in the crowd, like before they filmed it, all right, we want you to rush him and try to rip some clothes off him. And he was petrified. He said they were like banshees, whole screaming bunch of kids, like, yeah, let's get him. And he's there trying to mime a song, and they're ripping all his clothes, he said it was probably one of the scariest moments he's ever had, and it was countdown. Here's JPY, you know, yeah. They used to film
That
that on
show
a
made it.
Thursday, I think.
That show made a huge difference anyway. JP Countdown. I mean, that was the thing that set Molly Meldrum up, right?
Well, that was the thing. Yeah, at the time that was one of the first national music shows that was around. So if you were whoever you were, if you were playing a gig on a Friday or a Saturday, I think those shows were filmed on a Thursday.
Yep.
They'd come on Friday and they'd say, "Oh, tonight you're going to be at wherever in Melbourne or wherever, and they'd all go, oh yeah, we're going to be on at 9 o'clock. Oh, and they weren't allowed to say, you know, what time it was because it was pre-recorded. So there's a lot of when you know how it all works, and when you used to watch the replays of them now, you could see all this sort of stuff, and when you watch the drums, and they're just really softly tapping the cymbals because the cymbals are really loud.
Yep.
And when you watch a drummer, he's just doing this, and he's not even sort of touching them. And
Yep.
it's fun watching how they used to do it. But it was a great show. In Excess, yeah, here we go. Crowded House, In Excess.
But they were
You
more
know,
the '80s. There was stuff before then. I'm pretty sure
yeah,
there
for
was
sure.
like I mean, Eagle
Well,
Rock.
Ross Wilson, yeah,
Yep.
Daddy Cool.
Yep.
Um, Let me have
They
it.
were
Who
early
else?
70s, though.
Yeah.
Cam Creek
Well,
says Bee
I don't.
Gees. The Bee Gees, I don't believe
Yeah.
the Bee Gees were actually Aussie born and bred. I think they were
No.
Pommies who came to
English.
live here. Yeah.
Yeah, and they learnt their music here, and then took
Yep.
it overseas. Yeah.
My Mini
Just
Garage
tends.
is saying you got this. Thumbs up, everybody. Thank you. As the governor's saying, Crowded House in excess has success in the UK in the 80s. Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Dolphins invented. Yeah, okay, go away. That's
And
on your channel, I think,
who we got?
Jonesy. I think that's on your channel.
Yep.
Oh, it's on
I've
mine,
ne-
actually. I'll fix that.
yeah. Well, anyway, there's like music that I would play. Where are we for my music? That's why we need some moderators. You got moderators in your channel?
I do, but none of them seem to be here.
Yeah. What
Yes. Go.
bands like Cold Chisel. Like Cold Chisel couldn't make it in the States. They were massive in Australia.
Yep.
Well, let me go back to this folder here where I can. Oh, who have we got? Like Adam Harvey, the country guy. No, Australian choral. Yeah, no, they weren't really. Bernard Fanning, he was in the 90s. Billy Thorpe, he was sort of big for a
And the
while.
Aztecs. Yep.
Yeah. Who else overseas? Hard, Brian Cadd maybe back in the day. Um, yeah, it's sort of like really the bands from back in the day. Really, American market was where they attacked. They should have, instead of saying I'm going to attack America, I'm going to play all over America. Bands should have been going to like a region and going, okay, let's hit New England and let's do the
Yep.
New England region, and we'll just keep going back there and grow our base. Like the
Yep.
Divinals, they tried to go everywhere and it just didn't work.
Yep.
Um, who else we
Yet
got?
they were big here.
Oh, mate, the Australian music market for a population of 20 odd million, um, we love our music, and we support our music. That's why they do so well. But then when they try to travel, bands like Hunters and Collectors were nobody overseas.
Yep.
They were like a Melbourne based. But Hoodoo Gurus,
Cam Creek Hills saying Angus and Malcolm Young were born in Scotland. Cam Creek Hill is also saying Bon Scott.
yeah, Bon Scott. Well, before Bon Scott, there was this guy.
The Hoodoo Gurus.
Dave Evans.
Dave Evans. Yep.
He was the first
Yep.
singer of AC/DC before Bon Scott. He only lasted a short time, but he was there, and he's one of the original AC/DC members from when it first kicked off. Still going strong today. He just sent me a message. He played a gig. He's got to be he's got to be over 65. He's as fit as a fiddle, and he just done a gig in Mexico in a full stadium. The very first singer of AC/DC. Done a couple of his songs, chucks in a few AC/DC songs. He sells out venues all around America, South America. Like, unbelievable. A man of his age and still pumping out vocals. A great singer. He was in, what band was he in? There was a band from the Hunter Valley that he joined, Rabbit. Yeah, there was a band called Rabbit, and they were pretty popular back in the day. I wouldn't say they were overseas popular, but
Funny, there was a South African band called Rabbit.
was it? Was there? What about Jefferson John? He had a couple of
Now,
hits.
The Adventures of Traveling Mike is saying that Midnight Oil at least were at least a one-hit wonder in the US.
Yeah, well, they were huge in Australia, absolutely huge. But yeah, they gave it a crack. They went there and tried tried their best. Well, the record label sent them there to crack it, and you know how the music scene works. Like when they were in their height of their popularity,
Yep.
their label would say, "All right, here's $200,000. We're going to give it to you. You have to do this, 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 and this on these gigs and release an album." So they get given the 200,000. They didn't get it given; they had to pay it back. So the 200,000, then they'd go to a place and record an album. The album would cost them, I don't know, 60 grand, maybe more. And with that 60 grand, then they get their CDs out or their albums out. And then the
Yep.
albums were called units. So then the record label would get like a number of units. So it'd be like we'll go with basics. Just say 1,000. So they'd say
Yep.
we're going to release 1,000 units of this. Whatever you sell, the profit comes back to pay our debt, and then when we get our debt free, you get your money. So after all the
Yep.
money's sort of doing the churning, then eventually they'll get the profit. So for years that they're under the control of the label. Well, if they produced 1,000 albums and they only sold 100 of them, they still had to pay 900 of the albums back to the record label. The band had to.
Yep.
And then they just got behind in debt and debt and debt, and they were a slave to the label, and they were never making any money. That's why you see a lot of bands that they'd just give it away, they'd declare bankruptcy, and they'd come
Yep.
back as very similar name to what they were, but they're completely different, but singing the same
Now,
songs.
now, Rob, the governor, Rob on the road, is saying Rose Tattoo less well known, but outside Australia.
I mean,
Cam Cam Cam
Let
Creek
me
Hill is
say
saying,
this:
yep,
Rose Tattoo in Germany are massive. In Germany, Rose Tattoo, absolutely huge. And Angry, they're still touring. He's got to be well into his age group. I know
70s.
yeah, I know his girlfriend really well. Like I don't know him too well, but I know his partner really well. So he's a nice. Never call him Gary, by the way, which is his name. If you call Angry Gary, he gets very angry. Yeah.
Well, he's got
If
Gary
you
in the
think,
word angry, right?
well, if you get to meet him one day, Angry Anderson, and say, "Hi, Gary, how you going?" Just see what he does, because yeah, he's a bit like yeah. It's funny watching him, and he's only about 4'2". He's a tiny little bloke.
Cam Creek Hill is saying that's my point about the Bee Gees, born on England, formed in Australia like ACDC.
Hmm.
Um, Mike is saying honestly, the only song that sticks out in memory is "Beds Are Burning." I
Yeah.
mean, they
You
did
had to get
a lot.
the very first album, the Blue album,
Yeah,
the
yep.
very first one, like Surfing on a Spoon and Buster Bondi. Oh, man, I'd have to dig the album out. I got it here somewhere. But yeah,
O-
I'm an old
Okay,
man
he's going to
from way
do
back.
it. The governor is going to mention it. Men at Work, 1978. Well, yeah, okay, we'll class that as an Aussie band,
I'll tell you
although
what a
he lives in
lovely
the
guy.
US.
He is a lovely guy.
Yep.
Singer. Well, man, what's his name? He's still performing. He's still performing
He is.
live.
He is.
He was at the Melbourne
I was
Cup. Did
watching
you
some.
see that?
Yeah, I did. Agreement there. Rob on the Road. Didn't they do a song? Came from someplace. Can't recall. Yep, the Land Down Under. That's right. And a whole lot of other things too. Angry has still got it too.
Angry. He's still got what? He's still got the music. He's still singing well, I tell you.
Yeah,
And
he's got the voice.
he had, yeah, yeah. He's had a unfortunate life with his children and a few other things that's been going on there with some. We will probably won't go down that road, but he is an absolutely legend. Like they tried to make him into this great guy. Remember he'd done the TV show where he'd fix people, like he'd fix their
Yes.
problems. What do you need?
Yes.
We need to get some money for this,
Yes.
and we need to do that. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So he went down that road for a little while, but it just didn't work. It,
Because
yeah,
people didn't
good
take
old
him
days.
seriously, I think.
You're probably right. What else have we got? What about the Radiators? I know they're a Sydney band. Did you ever have much to do with the Radiators?
I had very
You know,
little
the
to do with them, but um,
fun band. They're still
we,
playing live today.
yeah, that's the thing. A lot of bands that could have made it big were basically making it big in the pub scene. They didn't actually get out onto the airwaves. They just got out. They just did it in the pubs.
Yeah. What about Skyhooks too? Like another Melbourne band who
Yeah,
basically was well known in Australia but couldn't make it anywhere else. Everyone thought they had a
yeah,
female singer.
that's right.
Yeah, Shirley.
Um, Campion Creek is saying, yeah, he still got the voice.
Yeah. And really, like the music scene's an interesting scene to work in. Like the Ted Mulry gang. Remember them? Jump in my
Yes,
car and Darktown Strutters
yes,
Ball. Well,
yep,
Ted died of was it throat cancer that got him? But that was a while ago now, maybe 20 years ago. But Steve Mulray, his little brother, is now fronting the band. The band wanted to get back together, but they wouldn't play unless Ted's younger brother become the singer. Well, Steve was in a band called Black Label, which was like a heavy metal rock band. And to go
yep.
back and sing, the Jump in My Car and all those sort of lovey-dovey songs from the 70s was very unusual for him, but he did it, and boy, they're still popular, and they're still filling out rooms. And yeah, I think Steve's coming to Tasmania this month in a couple of weeks with a band called
Yep.
something like the best of pop or the best of rock or some band. They're doing the casino and a couple of other gigs. So I'm looking forward to catching up with them guys. I think the bass player from Hush and a few other people are in that band. But, yeah,
G'day, James. Welcome aboard. Nice to have you here. The governor is saying Black Feather think they were fronted by Neil Johns.
yeah, Black Feather. Yeah, they were. I've got some of their music here too. They were
Um,
an interesting band.
the goddamn bacon is also saying Black Label. I feel called out. Hey, did it just get dark in here?
I'll tell you what. Something about
Good
Black
question.
Label. They own the copy. They own the legal name Black Label, and bands in America called like Black
Yep.
Label Society were told to change their name when they sold music over here, so they weren't allowed to
Oh,
cross that path. Yeah, so like the
yep.
Black Label Society had to be called BL Society and stuff like that, whereas the Black Label owned the rights. That was an interesting law case that went through, and they obviously the Australian band owned the rights and just smashed him between the eyes and said, "You want to use that name, mate? Pay us. If you don't want to pay us,
The same
change your
thing
name."
happened here with same kind of thing here happened with Hungry Jack's and Burger King. Burger King tried to set up some stores here. Hungry Jack's kicked up the stink and said, "We've got the rights. Piss off." So all the Hungry Jack stores, all the Burger King stores became Hungry Jack's.
I thought they were the same.
No, they weren't
Huh?
actually. Um, Burger King obviously sold the franchise rights to one bloke out in WA. And that one bloke set up Hungry Jack's. He changed the name to Hungry Jack's and set up stores. There were 3 stores allowed in Melbourne. One was at Melbourne Airport and a couple of others around in other places. And then they started trying to make Burger King a big name here, and Hungry Jack's this guy kicked up a stink, took him to court, and the court case said all the Burger Kings had to change over to Hungry Jack's.
Wow. Yep. There you go. Well, it's there's some interest. Like Australia has really got some interesting stories. Like with like here, for instance, McDonald's.
Yep.
It's Burnie, right? Burnie coming this way towards the west coast. That's the last one. Like there's only a couple up this end of the coast. So everywhere else around the west coast here, they've got to drive to Burnie if they want McDonald's, because the smaller towns are going no, and the councils are saying no when they put their applications in to put a petrol station with a McDonald's drive-through and that. They just keep saying no. Spend your money in the local town, please.
Yeah, makes
It's
sense.
sort of interesting. Yeah, whereas if it was in anywhere else, they'd be saying, yeah, we'll take your money. You put your application in, we'll say yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. Jonesy, we've been running an hour and 47 minutes. I'm going to shut it down. Let the guys on the other side of the pond get some sleep, or wake up and at least brush their teeth. And those that are on our side of the pond, we'd love to have you guys back here next week. Either Jonesy or I will be hosting, and we'll be running the show every week. An opportunity for you to get to learn a little bit about Australiana and so forth. Campion Creek, last statement for the night. We had a Burger King in Sunshine, Victoria, and it changed to Hungry Jack's. There you go.
Yeah, we've got one down the road here too.
Mike is saying, thanks to both of us. And people are saying, have a great day. So without further ado, I'd like to thank you for coming up, Jonesy. And as usual, you have an awesome day. I'll get you just to hang around till afterwards. And
No
we
worries.
shall catch everybody
Thanks for
later
having me.
on. Yep. Have a great day.